Welcome back to another edition of the Knight Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again is my co-host, Richie O'Leary. A lot to talk about today, so sit down. It's Friday at 1:15. It's a little early to, bust out a cold one, but we won't judge here. If you want to enjoy yourself while you listen to us.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's almost 5 o'clock here as well. Rutgers got another commitment last night from Isaiah Cook, who is an offensive lineman from Delaware State. We'll get into who he is as a player and how that commitment came together. Then we got a lot of visit updates. Visit update from Bradley Jones, the corner out of Citadel. Visit update for Isaiah Chisholm, the linebacker from UCLA. We have some clarity on a few of the other visits that were scheduled and then canceled. We have a mystery visitor we'll kind of allude to. I know a lot of people were wondering who this we'll get into that in a little bit. And then we have another visitor confirmed for this weekend from a position that I think we're all a little surprised by, and that's what we call in the business a tease. But before we get into any of that, this podcast is presented to you by FanDuel. I've said it for a while this week. I like Indiana tonight. I like the Eagles this weekend. I like the Rams this weekend.
Do we want to root for Indiana, though, is the question. Or do we want to root for Oregon for other reasons? We can start talking about that on the pod now, too. I mean, I think it's been long enough.
Yeah, I think that would add some clarity potentially to the coaching search for sure at defensive coordinator. A couple other props I like this weekend. I like Josh Allen to go over on his pass attempts. I like Dalton Kincaid, longest reception over. I think that's at 17.5. And I think the Josh Allen attempts is at 31.5. But let's get into the meat of the pod. Let's start right off the top. Isaiah Cook. So Isaiah Cook is a 6'3", 300-pound offensive lineman from Delaware State. He is a Jersey kid who both his parents are Rutgers alums. He started 4 seasons for Delaware State along several different positions on the offensive line. In 2022, as a redshirt freshman, he started 10 games at right guard. And then the following season, as a redshirt sophomore, he started 9 games at center and 1 at right guard. In 2024, he started 2 games before he got hurt, but they were both at right guard. And then this past season, 2025, he made 9 starts. 5 were at right guard, 4 were at right tackle. So he's got a lot of experience at different positions, which you love to see. This past season, he graded out at a 71.4, which was good for 58th out of 674 guards on PFF. Now, the interesting thing is, the staff likes him as a center. So he's going to be coming in to add some competition at center, but most likely he will be a depth piece who will, be able to back up right guard, center, a couple positions along the offensive line. So for that reason, I like this commit. It makes a lot of sense. It's not like they're relying on him to be a starter and you need depth at the offensive line position. I know some people are kind of, I wouldn't say up in arms is the right term, but I think the culmination of like all these guys being FCS players or low-level players, people are kind of starting to question the direction of this portal class, and I can totally understand that. But Rich, how did this commitment come together, and what is Rutgers getting in Isaiah Cook?
Yeah, so he is Terrence Salami 2.0, basically. I don't know if he'll end up winning that center job, but we do know that Jim Turner prefers size on the offensive line. So 6'3", 305, something like that. That's pretty solid size for a center. Like, you don't really see that too often. Now, I know they have Hank Zawinskis, and I know the plan was for Hank to be the starting center next year. I still think that's probably the plan, if I had to guess. But to bring in a kid and say, screw it, like maybe he could be a backup center, I don't think it's any issue whatsoever. And he has good size. He has decent numbers at Delaware State. It's Delaware State, so mind you, it's against very low-level competition. But, yeah, I mean, it can't hurt to bring him in. I just think the big issue with people on the boards that people have on the boards with him is the fact that everyone wants the big name offensive lineman. Everyone wants a starting caliber offensive lineman. Is he a starting caliber? No, I don't think so. Is he going to compete for the job? Yeah, 100%. And we'll just have to wait and see how everyone handles the Jim Turner switch, because I know Pat Flaherty was a yeller when it comes to the practices. We'd be sitting in the media room and you just hear F-bomb after F-bomb from across the parking lot, mind you, which is like pretty far from the practice field. And it's just, he is a yeller, but this guy is a different animal entirely. It's not going to be easy for some people to adjust to him. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, screw it. Fuck it. Take a backup center. Can't hurt.
Yeah, we've seen time after time, offensive linemen, they get dinged up, and you need to have quality replacements along the offensive line. And I think this is certainly that, a guy who's an all conference level player, even if it's, the FCS, who wants to come in and potentially be a backup. I think you got to take that all day.
You got to trust Jim Turner's eyes too at this point. The man has developed draft pick after draft pick after draft pick. Anywhere he's developed draft picks. Like it's very impressive. So trust him and just see what he could do. I mean, again, I'm not expecting him to do much. I think he's mostly just gonna be a rotational piece at the very most. At the very least, it is what it is. He's a body. They have other centers on the roster too. Actually, no, they don't, because John Stone's gone too. So
yeah.
So there were no centers on the roster.
Yeah, no, it's just Hank and it's Isaiah Cook now. Hank Zelinskas. So
and Kobe would be emergency center, God forbid.
Yep. What else about this kid is something we should kind of hit on?
I mean, the Rutgers grad thing's interesting. Again, he was pretty good at Delaware State. They don't play a lot of good competition. They don't play. I think they did play a big name school, if I'm correct, right, this year.
Well, Delaware State's coached by Deshaun Jackson now, and they played at the Link against Norfolk State. I don't know who else they played.
So, yeah, I'm looking now. They played Monmouth. He did pretty good against Monmouth. They played Delaware, who was kind of a success story down there because their first year in the FBS, and they ended up getting a bowl game, which is like unheard of. Everyone projected them dead last in what are they in? I don't even know what they're in. Sun Belt? I forget.
Delaware is in Conference USA.
Oh, they're in Conference USA. Okay. I mean, they had a pretty good year there, but he also has he played some right tackle for them, played some right guard for them, kind of rotated between the two. He's going to play center for Rutgers, but I mean, all his numbers are very solid. It's just a matter of it's a big jumping competition. It's not like you're getting a JD Dorenzo, who was an All-American at Sacred Heart. You're not getting a Mashoud Giwa, who was an All-American at Long Island. So again, I would stress the fact that this is nothing crazy to worry about. I think it's more of a good depth addition. Just screw it. It can't hurt.
Yeah, no, it's like I have no problem with this addition. I can understand why people are starting to kind of get concerned about the class overall, but I think this is not a kid that I would be concerned about adding. Just given everything we've kind of outlined, given the expectation of what he'll do when he's here, the kind of role he'll play, I'm totally fine with this addition. But there is quite a bit to talk about. So if we have nothing else of substance regards to Isaiah Cook, let's talk about Bradley Jones. So Bradley Jones is back home from his visit. Sounds like things went really well with Bradley Jones. How do you see this one shaking out for the Scarlet Knights? You're muted, Rich.
Yep, and that would be the first mute/unmute button mistake of 2026. Still working out the kinks, as you could tell. Everything sounds like he had a really good visit. He enjoyed himself. I like Rutgers' chances there. As I told you guys previously, these visit things are weird. There's like a weird rule where you have to wait a day or two before you can officially announce them. So we'll have to wait and see if it ends up happening or not. But he doesn't have any other visits scheduled at this point. His agency did tell me he plans on making a decision soon. I think he could be a cornerback too this year. That's kind of just went hand in hand with that.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys 429 asks, is Bradley better than Dawood? I like Dawood better. I think Dawood's a more polished corner. They both are track guys and both have the size that Shiano typically looks for in defensive backs. They're both 6 feet or taller. But I think like Bradley runs track for the Citadel, and I think he ran like a 10.31 100 meter this past season, which we did the conversion is like a 4.3 flat, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then Dawood ran track in high school. He ran like the 10.9s for a PR in high school, which you're only going to get faster as you continue through college. So both have legit speed, but I like Dawood a little bit better.
See, I'm kind of indifferent because Bradley has good tape against like Clemson. There was some other Power 4 school that he played against. And he looked pretty solid. I think Bradley will probably end up being CB2 this year, if I had to guess. That speed is unmatched though. And they want it to get faster. They want it to get longer and lengthier. And you're getting that with both of those guys. I think Dawood was 6'1", 6 foot. And then Bradley Jones is Bradley Jones, that's his name. Yeah. Is 6'2". And with that speed, I mean, not many receivers in college football are able to keep up with that. So
we have a question from Dak Paul, which I think a lot of the fan base is asking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go after Power 4 transfers? I would rather have a linebacker with 50 tackles from Utah than 50 tackles from McNeese State. And obviously that's just a hypothetical. I don't have a great answer for you. I think, we'll talk a little bit on this pod about a Power 4 that's going to be on campus this weekend. A little bit more of a tease. But I think it's in part because Power 4 guys who are actually good, and Rich, you kind of did a good job of outlining this, so I'm not going to just steal what you wrote, but I'm going to talk through why Rutgers might not be targeting as many Power 4s as fans want them to.
Well, I got yelled at for the way I described it too, because I said Power 4 transfers suck. And to an extent, that's partially true. I probably should have worded it better, but I was just sick and tired of getting the same questions over and over and over when I've answered this question over and over and over. But Power 4 transfers, if you're good, you're going to go up a level. You're not going to go from, let's just say Virginia. You're not going to go from Virginia to Rutgers. That's a lateral move at best. Like even
if you
nowadays,
played well and you put good numbers up,
yeah, you put good numbers up at Virginia, you're not going to Rutgers. Like it just doesn't make sense. Minus like a coaching change or something like that. You're going to go to like a top 15 program in the country. Or if you stink at a Power 4 level, means you probably stink. So I kind of also don't want you. Now there are some cases where like backups have worked. Like a Michael Dwumfor has worked in the past. Trying to think who else, honestly. There's not really a whole lot of them. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, they kind of stink already. So it's like, all right, I'd rather go hit on or try to hit him up when he goes to G5. And if he does good at G5, then we can talk about being a bounce back. And that's how it always works. So they're probably not going to go after many Power 4 guys unless they have produced a little bit. But that's basically it. Like, it's just a matter of Power 4 transfers suck. Like the ones that Rutgers go after suck.
Yeah, I think the nuanced answer is anybody would be a significant upgrade from the Power 4 level is going to a blue blood. Anybody who's not really playing a ton in a Power 4 probably isn't going to play here. So they're probably going to go down a level. There's not many guys who are just like average starters at the Power 4 that would make sense for Rutgers to target.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. Like, a lot of those guys have those size speed requirements. Maybe they just weren't utilized correctly at their last school. Maybe they're, I think everybody on the Rutgers defense this year, needs to be kind of graded on a curve. And a lot of schools are doing that. You see Jordan Walker end up at Georgia Tech. You see Bo Masco end up at Texas. You see Jacoby Henderson end up at Virginia. Like, these are all good programs. They're taking Rutgers players, I think, in part because they realize how poor the defensive scheme was this year. It wasn't really on an individual player. So I think another part of it that we have to address is that Rutgers isn't the most deeply pocketed. They have more money than last year, but they can't really afford to splurge on a position or on a player. So they have to be very methodical with how they spend their money. And it seems like they're taking a bit of a Moneyball approach. It seems like they might also be waiting for this kind of first wave of portal activity to kind of die down, so they can come in and be like, the the best of the second wave, like they would still have money banked that they can use on players who are still available or guys who entered later.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risky approach because I kind of compared it to like grocery shopping through like the clearance aisle at that point where you're, looking at a collection of dented cans and ugly produce that sure, like if you know what you're doing, you can make a damn good meal out of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like it's risky. There might be fucking botulism in those cans. You got to be really careful. You got to do a lot of extra work when you are sifting through the leftovers of the portal. So I think it's a calculated risk. I've gotten some intel about certain players that they passed on who they could have had at a really good number at positions of need that are now getting a lot of SEC interest, a lot of interest from the legitimate blue bloods. And I won't put out, the specific name I'm talking about, but he would have probably started for us in 2026 and Rutgers wasn't interested. And now he's probably going to end up at a legitimate like top 10 program in the country. So
yeah.
And Rutgers could have had him wrapped up literally day one of the portal being open. Like he wanted to come here and they said no. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of their portal recruiting, it's just very bizarre. It's weird. But yeah, I know some people in the chat are saying like Brendan White, they're saying like Flip Dixon and guys like that. And you got to also remember that's pre-NIL, number one. Number two, they were following their coaches. Like Brendan White was a big Schiano guy. His best season was under Greg Schiano as defensive coordinator. Kind of like relegated to a backup role at Ohio State before he goes to Rutgers. Then Flip Dixon, like he followed Joe Harris-Simiak. He was very close with Harris-Simiak. So you can get you can get Power 4 transfers if they're going to follow a coach, but if they're good Power 4 transfers, and they will probably follow a coach if they're very close with that coach. But for the most part, with NIL being a factor now too, it's extremely hard to get those good quality transfers now. But G5s aren't bad either. Like 2 of the top 10 portal guys right now are from North Texas. There's like a Gardner Webb kid that visited Ohio State the other day. Like everyone is hitting up the G5 route. It's not just Rutgers just doing it. Like everybody is hitting up G5, FCS, because those kids are just as talented. And a lot of them fell through the cracks throughout those COVID years too. And with NIL, you're just going to pay to get a new roster from a transfer. You're like all these high school recruits that are decent, like 3-star caliber kids are falling through the cracks at lower levels. And then they're going to work their way up over the next year. And a lot of programs are open to that too. I know, I think we talked to the Wagner coach a couple years ago and he said it. He's like, I'm just kind of at the point where it's like, screw it. You want to come here? Look, I sent this kid to USF. I sent that one to Colorado. I sent this one here. You come here, we will get you to a Power 4 and we will be that. Then he'll be good for a year or two. And that's all he really needs. And then he could just keep selling that. Like, come here as a freshman, we'll develop you. Then bon voyage.
Yeah. And I mean, they're basically the new JUCOs in today's day and age. No Good Chaos said, we passed on some really good players. Agents try to get guys to Rutgers. They never answer them back. Yeah. This is not the first time I've heard that as well, where they're not the most responsive when agents are trying to pitch players who have basically said, like, I want to go to Rutgers, like, make it happen. And it's not like it's, some third stringer at a D2 school. Like, these are guys who could play at this level, and it hasn't worked out. So he continues on. I know 2 players that wanted to come here. Rutgers never hit them back. And now they're at a big school, would have been 2 starters easily. Yeah, I mean, it's infuriating. When I'm talking to dozens of people every day who either are close to specific players or agents themselves, and like just hearing some of the kind of stories, timelines, things like that. It's just like, there is a bit of like, what are we doing here to the portal recruiting right now that hopefully there's some plan that we don't have full visibility to that, in hindsight in a month, we'll be like, oh, okay, this made sense now. I don't know. That seems like a lot of wish casting though.
You're not kidding. Maybe the new DC brings in a bunch of dudes. Who knows? Yeah,
if that person actually exists and it's not just like in 2 weeks, Shiano's like, yeah, I'm going to call the plays myself. I brought on Andy Boo as a consultant though. He's going to help me.
Don't put that evil into this air.
I mean, it's what, day like 36 now without a DC? Like, what are we doing?
Setting records, baby.
Yeah, there's no team that even took more than like 25 days to hire their replacement DC, and that was freaking Boston College. So
struck out.
What are we doing here?
Did strike out, didn't strike out. I don't know how you want to call that. That's an ugly hire, though.
Yeah,
that's a Rob Smith hire.
It is. But speaking of what are we doing, Isaiah Chisholm ended his visit. UCLA linebacker. It sounds like this one's still up in the air. What are you hearing is going on with Isaiah Chisholm and Rutgers?
Yeah, they're not really sure. So they got Ty Morris. You guys saw that pod probably this morning because I'm an idiot and I just couldn't figure out how to upload it correctly and uploaded it 4 different times. And for some reason, it just cropped out half the pod every time. But so they got Ty Morris. That's their one transfer linebacker. They are confident in Moses Walker still. So technically, like Moses, as of right now, would probably be the starter. I know Abram Wright's in rehab. He's going through some things, trying to get back to full strength. They have the young guys, and they're pretty confident in them. So they don't really want to, like, touch too much on this and, like, say, hey, like, let's add another linebacker, because then you're probably losing one of those linebackers. You don't want to lose the young kids specifically, but they're going back and forth to see if they can make it work. I think you have to make it work because you cannot trot out the same linebacker core again for the 3rd season in a row. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to hate on the Morris kid too much because they do think he's a starting caliber linebacker. And that's kind of concerning to me too, because his tape's not that good. A lot of angle issues, a lot of a good pass rusher, which is great. Good run stuffer, solid. Not too great in coverage, and also not too great with taking the correct angle. And that's literally what we've been preaching for the past 2 seasons. It's been brutal with the linebackers just taking the worst angles possible, missing tackles. Like, there's the one clip I posted of Morris against UConn, and Joe Fagnano, the quarterback of UConn, is arguably the slowest quarterback in college football. Like, very talented, but very slow. And somehow he basically juked Ty Morris out of his shoes almost. It's disgusting. It's like, what am I watching here? Like, so I do think Morris could be a solid linebacker, but he cannot be your only linebacker grab this go around.
Yeah, in my opinion, you need 2. You need 2 guys that you feel like you could start, because it's not just that the linebacker play was not great last year. Like you said, we have Moses Walker coming off a very serious season-ending injury. You have Abram Wright, who had a season-ending injury 2 seasons ago that was banged up all year. Like, God forbid you have a series of injuries similar to last year. You're playing like true freshmen at that point, or redshirt freshmen. Now, obviously, the staff is super high on guys like DJ McClary and Kamar Archie, but I think if they could have made a difference last year, they would have played more, because they both got red shirts, obviously, but I don't think either of them played 4 games. And Rich, you could kind of fact check me there.
Who was it? Archie and McClary, you said?
Archie and McClary, yeah.
They played 5 games, so they did burn it.
They did. They burned their red shirts last year?
Which I also think is stupid. Like, just 4 games, done. Like, that's it. There's no need to throw them out there again. For what? For, like, I think the most snaps each of them played in the game was like 10. I think maybe 15 in Norfolk. And it's like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like, and it's not like I know maybe the players are like, hey, like, I don't want a red shirt. Like, it looks bad on me, but it doesn't though either. Like, everyone's redshirting in college football. So I don't know. 10 snaps for Oregon, for DJ McClary. So here's the thing, like, PFF has them listed both at 4 games, but when you go on their pages on Rutgers, it says 5 games. So I would assume Rutgers is correct on that, considering it's Rutgers. But who knows, actually? So don't just think that they're correct on that one. But yeah.
Well, hopefully that is they were able to actually redshirt. But
I'm sorry, 6 games for Kamar Archie, actually.
Oh, jeez.
So that one's gonna be hard to sweep under the rug.
See, that one's still unsure if that's going to end up happening in terms of Rutgers landing Isaiah Chisholm. I like Chisholm better than the Ty Morris guy. So hopefully it wasn't a decision that they made where they decided to take Morris as their guy if they only were taking one over Chisholm. But bit of a bummer.
Yeah, not happy about that one.
We had 2 guys who had visits scheduled to the Scarlet Knights who ended up having them canceled. And we'll go through both of them, kind of talk about what happened with each of them. Richard Mosley III was a corner out of Stonehill. he had a visit that was scheduled, and then almost like not immediately, but like 24 hours later, it got canceled. What happened there?
It sounds like they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to find a cornerback elsewhere. Kind of teased where that one could go. I don't want to really say a whole lot more towards that, but but yeah, I think we'll hear good news in that room shortly.
Very interesting. You could speculate who that might be. Maybe we already talked about this person on the pod today. And then Zach Bergman, the Missouri Southern linebacker, the D2 linebacker, he had his visit canceled as well. What happened with that situation?
It just sounds like they took Ty Morris and he was kind of their backup plan, and it's simple as that. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with Chisholm. They're still, like I said, they're still debating on Chisholm, so they might take another linebacker, but they might not. So it's just kind of wait and see what the plan is there. They're debating it internally, and then they'll figure it out. You also got to figure money wise too. Like, he's a power 4 starting linebacker. Like, he's going to get paid by someone. So as of right now, Chisholm has no other visits. Bergman's canceled, and they got Morris. So it's just a big internal debate on if they want to do it or not. I do see people in the chat constantly posting the same thing. We know what the NIL money is. We've hinted at it multiple times. It's all over the message boards. You do not have to donate to bribe us. You could just sign up for the site and check it out, actually. Yeah, basically simple as that.
So that's where things stand with those 2 canceled visits. There is a player that we haven't talked about yet who did visit Rutgers, and it sounds like things are trending very well for this player. Not sure how much more I could say on it, but Rich, I will hand that hot potato off to you if you want to discuss it further.
Yeah, it's hard to say much. You just got to wait and see. They will be adding another couple people soon. Just know it's going to be soon. Big body people soon. Big body person soon, I should say.
Interesting.
Other one's just fast. Wink.
Ooh. And this big body, is it somebody we've talked about before?
It is not. So that's where it gets even a little bit more fun. Secret visitors, man. They're something else. Not really that secret, but some are secret.
That's a little secret.
Yeah, no, this one's definitely secret. We'll see. I think people will be happy, I should say.
Yeah, I do too. I think this player is one of the more. It'll be one of the guys I'm higher on in terms of the portal haul so far. But
yep, we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll have another pod soon to discuss certain big man.
Would love that. Let's talk about a guy who's not so much of a secret anymore. Rutgers is having a power 4 running back visit from the University of Michigan, Bryson Kuzdalza, Kuzdal. Never seen that last name before, but he is visiting from Michigan. He has 2 years of eligibility left. He had 76 rushes this past season for 326 yards for the Wolverines with 4 touchdowns. He had 4 catches on 7 targets for 10 yards. He had a PFF grade of 71.4 on the season with a 79.1 rushing grade. His receiving grade was rough, 39.9 or 39.3. His pass blocking grade was horrendous. He had a 6.6 on a 100-point scale, and that was in 179 snaps for the Wolverines. Weird kind of, not timing, but surprising target, I'll say. Rich, what's your kind of take on Bryson?
I'm going to take a gander at pronouncing this one.
Okay.
Kuzdalza. That sounds about right.
Kuzdalza?
Kuzdalza. Sure. Maybe the D's there. Maybe it's silent. Kuzdalza. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. I just figured why not, right? Can't pronounce anyone else. Might as well try for the crazy ones. He's interesting because, number one, I just didn't think they'd ever go after a running back because they seemed like they were pretty content. Now, I know that before this, I know before even transfer portal hit that they basically, what I was told at least, they weren't going to go after a running back, but they had running backs on a list just in case. God forbid, you never know what happens. Maybe Jay Sean Benjamin's like, I'm out. Maybe a Terrell Mitchell's like, I want to go be a starter, like ASAP. Now, I don't know where you're going to go and be a starter ASAP because it's very hard to do that. Maybe lower level, who knows? But I'm not speculating either of those guys are leaving, just so everyone knows. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But he is a preferred walk-on for Michigan back in 2023. Didn't do anything his first year, just redshirted. Started to get some carries his second year. And then this past season, I mean, put up almost 350 yards. Now, most of those yards came up against one team, Maryland, our favorite rival, only rival, according to the Big Ten, sponsored by Venmo. Yeah, he had 100 yards on 20 carries and 3 touchdowns against Maryland. Now, I'm not saying Maryland was good by any means, but it's still a Big Ten college football program. So that's still pretty impressive. And I do think you probably need someone that can spell Antoine Raymond a little bit. The crazy part is he has 2 years too. So he could potentially take over for Raymond once Raymond leaves for the NFL, because I feel like that's almost inevitable at this point. So something to monitor, something to keep a close eye on. He's also being talked to, or sorry, he visited Iowa State. He's talking to Georgia about a visit as well. He's expected to visit them too. Anytime like Power 4 programs want a guy and he's a Power 4 guy, I mean, this is a win-win all around, right? This is what people want. They want a Power 4 transfer. Not in the position group they would expect, but let's see how they do on the visit.
Yeah, that visit will be happening this upcoming weekend. We're still trying to kind of find if there are more visitors this upcoming weekend. I can't imagine there won't be, but that will always be posted onto the boards as soon as we find out. So for those of you who are not on the boards already, you can still get in on that 50% off discount. You have to be a new user, and if you want all these scoops as soon as they happen, that IV drip, I call it, right into your veins, Rutgers information, just go and sign up for an annual subscription. You'll get 50% off on the night report, and that's Rutgers.rivals, or sorry, that's Rutgers on 3.
There you
website. Go. Used to be Rivals.
Still is, sort of, kind of. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird little conglomeration there.
Something
gone through a lot of topics here in a very short amount of time. Is there anything we missed? Anything else you wanted to hit on?
Oh, I have basketball updates.
Oh,
and
boy.
you're gonna laugh because I laughed when I found out the news.
Oh boy.
Apparently Rutgers basketball has been outbid
for Kyrie Walker. Oh my god.
Yeah. What a
so somebody bid $1 is what you're saying.
No, apparently he was Jeff Goodman said he was going to get upwards of $100,000, which is just wild
for one semester of basketball.
Yeah, and technically I guess he could get more, but yeah, it sounds like Rutgers was outbid there, and he will not be a Scarlet Knight after all, so we can stop complaining on the boards about this random 25-year-old who was going to join the team and make them better.
Yeah, like Jeff Arnold, he does not want Kyrie Walker, apparently. Is it Fresno State, Rich?
I don't know who it is, but I just know that it's not going to be Rutgers. So, I mean, a bunch of people are going to probably try to get a 25-year-old transfer. They might see him and be like, oh, top 40 recruit, like top 40 recruit in 2020. Wait a second. Like, absolutely bonkers that this even almost came close to happening. He was ready to go to Rutgers, just so everyone knows. Like, he was all in on Rutgers. His agent told me it was Rutgers. It was just crazy situation that he's not going to be at Rutgers now. Anyway.
I just dropped the link to join the show if anyone would like to join us live. And if you have any more questions, we are here to answer for the next at least few minutes. For anything you guys might have, something we might have talked about or something we haven't talked about.
I'm trying to think what else. There's got to be more here. Oh, we'll have a Jim Turner article out tomorrow that will kind of really put him in the limelight of how good of a coach he was, and also about talks to a Texas A&M guy who also mentioned, shouldn't say mentioned, he went pretty in depth about the whole incident that happened there, and then the Miami bullying thing that got dismissed. He's not a bad guy by any means. He had some, like, it's a stupid thing. Like, that's all it was. One single person complained. And that's pretty much it. And he's a damn good coach. Like, I've never seen any writer rave about a coach like this before. So I do think he's going to be a damn good one when it's all said and done. And people are going to be like, oh, I shouldn't say Giants fans won't be like this, but most people will be like, Flats who? Like, and Flats was very good. Flats got them to that next level, but they need someone to get them up past that middle tier to that next level of offensive line play. And I think he's the guy to do it. And kind of in depth about like what he looks for in offensive linemen too. So it's a really interesting article. Definitely check it out tomorrow morning.
You also have some of the quotes in the war room from earlier today about Jim Turner as like kind of a preview.
Let me see if I can find that. So my first question was very simple. It was just like, tell me about Jim Turner. Like, it's just, I need to know him as a coach, whatever. And he's like, he's a darn good offensive line coach. He assembled the best college offensive line ever in 2011. They won the Outland Trophy. Second overall pick in Luke Jokel, Jake Matthews, Patrick Lewis, Cedric. I'm not even going to try that one. Jarvis Harrison, 3 first-rounders, a third-rounder, and a guy who played in the Super Bowl. That group, as you might remember, led Johnny Manziel to his Heisman campaign a year later in 2012. Then, obviously, in the NFL for a little bit. He came back, built an offensive line again at Texas A&M. That wasn't a good Texas A&M team. That got them to the Orange Bowl. I shouldn't say it wasn't good. I think they had 10 wins that year. But very outstanding technician and gets the most out of every single guy. So that's just a little preview of what you're going to learn about him.
We got Kevin Fine joining us, who I'm going to add to the stage now.
Rutgers Hall of Famer, Kevin.
Rutgers Hall of Famer, Kevin Fine.
I'm only here for one reason. I don't know if you've updated on. Is there any updates on the incredible Carson Gulker? I did scout out Zeeland, Michigan. However, I came up dry in my story, so I'm just checking in.
Yeah, so he will not be going too far from Zeeland. He has committed to Michigan State. He took one visit to East Lansing and ended his recruitment.
All right, fair enough.
Do we play Michigan State next year? I forget.
Now I have a reason to watch Michigan State games because I'm intrigued.
I don't think they do play Michigan State.
I think it'll be really intriguing to see how he's utilized all over the field, or if he's primarily used as a tight end.
They do play Michigan State at SHI Stadium.
Okay. So what date do you have? There's no date yet, right?
No, because the Big Ten wants to be a bunch of dummies and put the schedule out in the middle of January. So I have to wait until I can book my trips. But
so
if that's homecoming, then I'll be back for that one. I'll see that one in person. So hey, thanks guys. Have a great Friday. You're sickos. Talk to you later.
Thanks. So are you. We all take pride in the sicko nature. I do want to address something that Ron said. He says, Mike, you sound like a hypocrite. 2 days ago, you argued that they should be getting better players because they have decent NIL.
You're approaching Dave Anderson territory.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're trying to understand, with the knowledge that we have, why they're making the decisions that they are. And that constantly is changing, because sometimes we are getting the numbers that certain players are getting. Sometimes we don't. So we're working with an incomplete puzzle, and we're trying to see what this picture is. Sometimes you have enough puzzle pieces where you can step back and say, oh, it's an orchard with a guy picking trees. Other times you can't tell what the hell it is. So I think we're in the process of putting some of those pieces on the table, connecting some of them, but it's still an unclear picture. So we don't necessarily know. We're trying to figure out why things are going the way they are. So if I'm speculating one thing one day and speculating something slightly different another, it's either because there's more information or because maybe there's some stuff behind the scenes that we can or can't talk about. I don't know why they're choosing to go after the players that they are. I don't know why they're choosing to pass on certain players. I think the easiest and most sensible solution is that they either don't think those players are worth the money that they're asking for, or they don't think they're good players. So if they don't think they're good players, I think their talent evaluation sometimes might be a bit off. But again, we're still only a week into the portal. So this is still an incomplete grade. I know that some people are out there giving like portal hall grades. I think you can't really give it anything right now. I'm disappointed with who they've brought in so far. I think that if you're like, the whole goal was to have a better team in 26 than it was in 25. And with the guys who have been brought in versus the guys who have left, I don't see a better roster right now. We'll have to see how things shake out and how guys develop, but I do think they still need to add some impact players.
Do you want to see how quick the transfer portal changes things?
Yes.
You know how Justice Haynes, the starter at Michigan, just entered the transfer portal?
Yep.
Yeah, so it sounds like our Michigan friend that was going to visit Rutgers is going to go back to Michigan.
Oh boy.
That's just a quick example of how quickly things are moving right now. Starter enters and he's like, oh, wait, hold on. I can go back. I'm from Michigan. This makes sense. Like, what am I doing? You're right. Iowa State, Rutgers, and Georgia were not the answer. So more than likely going to go back to Michigan. That visit is now canceled after we posted it maybe 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes ago because the show started. So that's hilarious.
Yep. And that's what we mean. Like, there's constantly new information, constantly things are changing. So you're getting what the snapshot is of the moment.
Absolutely bonkers. Just how things transpire. Recruiting's wild.
The Trinidad Chambliss had his waiver shot down that quickly already. That is surprising.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a bummer for him.
Saw that, which sucks, but what are you going to do? Eventually, they're going to tell someone no, right?
Yeah, eventually.
Not Kyrie Walker, though.
Denise M. Sires from Facebook says we're doing lives now. Love it. Yeah, we've actually done lives a good deal this week. I think we've gone live at least 2 or 3 times, and we've gone live basically just because it's easier to get this information out there as quick as possible because it's already going to be on YouTube. And
you saw what I saw.
Yeah. You talking about the hoops game?
Yep. Do we want to even talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, we did catch it, unfortunately. I think Alec tweeted this out that the 2 basketball teams last night lost by like combined 90 points, something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The women's team got doubled up. The men's team lost by almost 30. But Rutgers did win the second half, baby. Let's go. Second half winners against the Illinois Fighting Illini. But yeah, I mean, this is just another game. Like the thing that's been going around social media, which, there's a lot of truth to, why we're struggling, just because the offense is just like, it's like a drunken toddler came up with how to actually run the offense. They're just not optimizing their shot distribution. And I mean, this is a season-long problem. So you're basically just like, from a systemic standpoint, like not setting yourself up in the most efficient ways. So if you're not taking the most efficient shots, you have to be super efficient with the shots you take. And that wasn't the case either. Yeah. Look at the comparison between Illinois' shot chart, where they do not have a single 2-pointer outside the paint. It's just threes and paint touches. And then you have the Jackson Pollock nature of the Rutgers offense, where you're just shooting from, look how many shots are just inside the arc here within 2 feet of the 3-point line. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. This is not how modern basketball is played. And until Rutgers realizes that, they're going to be playing at a schematic disadvantage on offense.
It's the same shot chart every week.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change ever. Just stop taking mid-range shots. I'd rather you take like covered 3-point shots at this point.
Yeah.
But they can't hit those anyway. Even when they're open, they're missing them. I think they went, hold on, I just had the numbers. 6 of 22 yesterday from 3. Jeez. And then they stunk from the free throw line. They went 3 of 8. Now, they didn't get a lot of foul calls, which I get it. Like 8 foul calls to 21 is a big difference. But you're not going to get a home whistle every time, especially when you're not home.
Yeah.
So
Ryan Conover asked D coordinator. And we have teased a bit about that.
Yeah.
We have talked about it quite a bit on the boards. I think you wanted to talk about it on here, Rich, what you're hearing.
Yeah, we can talk about it on here. Why not, right? Sounds like there's a lot of rumors putting this out there. We're not reporting this. We're not saying it's confirmation. It's just rumors. We've done some digging, and it sounds like Ola Adams is a serious candidate for the job. Ola Adams is currently, for those of you that don't know, is currently the safeties coach at Indiana, which would make sense why this whole process is taking damn near 40 days, because they're in college football playoff. They're probably going to be in the college football final, if I had to guess. So it's just a matter of a waiting game for that. Could it get announced while he's still coaching? It could. It potentially could. If it is him. But a little bit of his background: he's a really good DB's coach. He was the defensive coordinator at Villanova for a couple years. Before that, he was a special teams assistant there. He was a DB's coach there. He was actually a running backs coach there to start, which is really interesting. But yeah, he's developed a ton of talent. I can't think of the guy's name who's an all-pro DB in the NFL right now. You would know.
Oh, Christian Benford.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to say, for some reason, Harlan Barnett's name was coming up in my head because Alex said it multiple times in these pods. So it's just, But yeah, Christian Benford, he's also developed a couple different guys at different levels. He coached Patrick Surtain. He had a stint in the NFL, a cup of coffee with the Denver Broncos in their pass defense as the pass defensive coordinator, pass game coordinator, whatever the stupid role is, and secondary coach there. And then came back to the college game and now was the safeties coach for Indiana. So something to monitor, something to keep a close eye on. I've talked to a couple people out in Indiana that I know, including someone who's on the football team, and it sounds like there's a little bit more smoke there than we led to believe. We're led to believe.
Yeah, Denise, he didn't coach Kyle's brother, Kyle Monungai's brother. That was quite a bit before his time there. I think Kevin Monungai graduated in like 2013 or something like that. He's quite a bit older than Kyle.
2015, yeah.
2015.
Or 2014 NFL draft in 2015, but he didn't get drafted either.
Okay. Yeah, he had a cup of coffee with the Eagles, but not a long NFL career.
Yeah, no. So name to monitor. At least we have a name finally to look into and do more digging into.
Yeah. Given that Black Monday is also come and gone, I'd have a hard time imagining it was an NFL guy at this point. But we might be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, when did he get there? He actually got there in 2015, the year after Kevin Monungai. So, yeah, like he's young. He's a good coach. He was a damn good DC at Villanova for 3 years. Somehow turned that into a Denver Broncos job. Goes to Penn State for a year as the defensive analyst, where he worked with defensive coordinator extraordinaire Rob Smith. Just kidding. Rob Smith was an offensive analyst that year. Make that one make sense. Hey, dude, how can I expose this defense real quick? Oh, well, just run this scheme that I run all the time. I don't know. I'm sorry. No, I'm not actually, because he gets paid millions of dollars to suck. So he got paid millions of dollars to leave. So yeah, whatever. But it sounds like Ole Adams is an interesting name to keep an eye on. 39 years old, safeties coach of the best damn defense in college. I shouldn't say the best damn defense. One of the better defenses in college football, the best damn team in college football right now, under the best head coach in college football right now. Without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and the last time that Schiano hired a Kurt Cignetti assistant, it worked out pretty well. Anybody in the chat know who that was? I'll let
drum roll, please.
I'll let the suspense build here, see if anyone can guess. It was in the 2.0 era, and he's now a very well-paid assistant elsewhere. I don't know if anyone's seeing this on a delay or not, but it was,
there we go.
Good job. Cowboys got it correct. It was Corey Heatherman. So in 2021 or 2022, Rutgers hired him away from James Madison. Heatherman was the DC for Kurt Cignetti, I believe, in their last year of FCS play. So Rutgers hired him away, and now he's one of the brightest stars in college football in terms of the coaching ranks. So
yeah, and he'll have a lot of
good eye for it.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. Whoever, if it's Adams or someone else, they're going to have a lot of say in these defensive coaching additions. Just about every position's open except edge rushers / outside linebackers, and Julian Campenny, who's still there, and Charlie Noonan, who is the defensive tackles coach, who's kind of monitoring that room from a recruiting standpoint. Same could kind of be said for Campenny and the linebackers. It's just a whole group effort right now because there's a lot of assistant coaches that are also helping out. Luke Carazola, the brother of former tight end Paul Carazola, is on the road right now in high school, going high school to high school, recruiting those guys. So there's a lot going on between transfer portal, keeping your roster together, adding to it, and then also recruiting high school kids, also while trying to build a defensive coaching staff. So yeah, what else could go wrong, right?
Lots of stuff going on, and we might be back later today given what we are hearing news-wise. So Stay tuned to the boards and stay tuned to your podcast feeds. I want to thank everybody who has rated, reviewed, told a friend, subscribed, liked videos. That all helps the channel grow. We're hoping to have a huge amount of growth in 2026. We had a lot in 2025, hoping for an even bigger and better show in the coming year. And I want to also thank our sponsor, FanDuel, one more time. A lot of good profit boost deals this weekend for the college football playoff and also the NFL playoffs. So get in on those, and hopefully we can make some money together. But that is all we've got for you guys today. From me and Richie, this has been another edition of the Knight Report podcast, signing off.